Hello! In this video we will discuss a very important property, justify content. Justify content is used to align the Flex container's items along the main axis. This is somewhat similar to text align, but it is used with blocks instead of text and has several values. The first value of justify content is flex start. If we use this value, all flex items are aligned to the start of the main axis. In other words, the items are left aligned. The second value is called flex end. If we use this, the flex items in the container are aligned to the end of the main axis, meaning they are right aligned in this case. If we set center as the value, all flex items will be aligned to center. If we use the value space between, all flex items will be positioned with equal spaces between them. In this case, as you can see, the first item is positioned at the beginning of the main axis, and the last one is at the end of it. Finally, there is the space around value, which is similar to space between. What's the difference between these two? If we use space around, the flex items will also be separated by equal spaces. However, as you can see, the only big difference is that the first and last flex items don't border the container, meaning there are spaces on the outsides. These spaces are equal to half of the space between the items, meaning half of this space. Okay, good. Now, let's see how it works in practice. Here we have our HTML with our 3 blocks. And also we have CSS where display flex is set for all these blocks. And we see that our blocks are displayed like this. By default, we have justify content flex start. And that's why if we add justify content flex start, nothing will change. But if we change justify content flex start to flex end, then our blocks will be right aligned. Now, let's change flex end to center, and let's see what our blocks look like. As you see, all blocks are centered and grouped as one. Now, let's change center to space between. Here we have our first block, and here we have our last block, and notice how this distance is the same as this distance. And the last value is space around. Refresh the page. And now we see that these distances are still of equal size, but they are a different size than they were when we used space between. That is because spaces have appeared on the right side of the last block and on the left side of the first block. By the way, the spaces on the sides are half the distance as the spaces between the blocks. So now you've seen how justify content works in practice, and you know how to align elements along the main axis. That's it. See you in the next lesson.